How are you feeling?
Well,
How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Could you give me some idea?
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final scene. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final
What up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to The Cult. The Cult is a show that I stream Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about really whatever I feel like talking about. We could talk about the culture war. We could talk about the cult of the left. We could talk about the cult of the right. We could talk about the cult of the classical liberals. We can talk about whatever things pertaining to cult that we feel like. I know, bot. Episode 300 of The Cult is tomorrow. Like, what should I do for it? What should I do? I never thought I would make it to this auspicious occasion of having an episode 300 of my own show. Oh my god. What do you guys think I should do to celebrate episode 300? Do you think we should try to do something special? Should we try to do we're not watching James. I'll tell you that right now. We're not watching James. Yeah, I heard that James Lindsay was on Michael Malice's show. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. I should have beer. Or champagne. Champagne might be a better idea. That's a good idea, to have champagne. Maybe I could get some pink champagne or something. I could get some, real fancy champagne. That's not a bad idea. I might do that, actually. But what should we watch? What subject matter should we watch for the 300th show? Oh, Renan, you were just in that space. Yeah, I was just in a space with the Groypers where we were talking about tarot cards and stuff, and that was pretty fun. Yeah, no more James. I can't. I need a break from James Lindsay's insanity is even getting to be too much for me. And that's really saying something. That's really saying something. That I can't even I cannot bring myself to even consider watching James talk to Michael Malice about his bullshit. I can't even bring myself to consider crashing James's hoax stream tomorrow. I can't even do it. I can't. We should do 300 minutes of queer. What is that, 5 hours? We should do 5 hours of queer. We can do that. I would have to find it. Well, if you guys have ideas for what I should do for the 300th episode tomorrow, please do let me know. Leave some suggestions in the chat. But I just want to have a chill show today. Can we chill? Can we have a chill show? Because I don't feel like doing internet drama and gossip. That's already taken up enough of my time in the last 24 hours. If you don't know what's going on, really don't worry about it. It's really not that important. Basically, some e-girl who apparently has a vagina full of warts named Morgan Ariel because she got HPV and then didn't treat it. And apparently by the time she treated it, it got so bad that the doctors were like, you just need a hysterectomy because the warts had taken over the inner area. Apparently, like, this bitch has been coming at me because I talked reality to her. And it's just like, you know what? She's like a former Turning Point USA ambassador. And the reason, by the way, that we know about the genital wart situation is she talked about it on the internet. She did a video on her own channel talking about the wart takeover of her genital area. This woman's named Morgan Ariel. She's like a grifter that kind of latched onto the groypers. And then, like, yesterday she started calling me a pedophile. I was like, girl, I don't even like kids. And all this because she decided to start some fight with the groypers for no good reason. One of the groypers said he wasn't going to grape her. Like, literally, the groyper was like, I wouldn't even grape you. And she started losing her mind and started fights with everyone. And then I came in and to her replies and I was like, you're the one that started the fight. Because I saw the whole thing go down. I was in the group chat where it happened. And then she's like, you're a pedophile. And I'm like, girl. Really? Really? And then Chris Burnett got involved, and the two of them should obviously date because her war-ridden area is perfect for Chris Burnett. And it's just like, you know what? I don't need any of this. I don't need any of this. I don't need any more internet drama. I don't need any more, like, ma'am, I watch socialism on the internet. Sir, I watch socialism on the internet. And no, Trendlin, no. No. I decline. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate you, Trendlin. We are not watching the Whatever podcast. No. I would sooner continue fighting with Morgan Ariel's wart-ridden vagina than I would watch the Whatever podcast. That's just truth. That's just truth. That's just truth. But we are going to be doing a little bit more of a chill stream today. We are going to be looking at this stream from Stu Studio. Everyone knows Stu Studio. Stu Studio does a great job documenting leftist trainings, and I mean, he really does quite a, like, he does way more than I do these days. I feel like I used to do what Stu Studio is doing now. I used to be the young upstart that was recording all this shit and putting it out on the internet and clipping it and all this stuff. And then as I got like to be 5 years in this game, I just got tired, and I still do this stuff. But Stu Studio is now the young upstart that's nipping at my heels, that is recording all this stuff and putting it out on the internet. And I'm really thankful for him doing it because he's getting some great stuff. He tends to follow a bit more of like the progressive groups than I do. I follow the Radical Revolutionary Socialist groups. He follows them sometimes too, but he really focuses much more on the progressive groups, which I think is appropriate. And I think it's also really helpful because I can only do so much. Oh, has Lindsay been calling me a pedophile too? Whatever. I don't really care. Listen, man, I have personally exposed more grooming in schools than James Lindsay has. That's just reality. Like James Lindsay has never done what I've done in terms of like doing journalism, doing investigations, going undercover, like really getting in there and looking at all the documents and looking at all the videos and showing people here's what's going on based on their own words. I've done more of that than James Lindsay has. So James Lindsay wants to call me a pedophile, then fine. I've exposed more grooming in schools than James Lindsay has. So that's just, again, another example of his intellectual dishonesty, and it's just not something I care to deal with right this second, if I'm being honest about it. I want to watch this. Because Stu Studio recorded this, and he recorded it on November 20th, so it's like a couple weeks old, but it's still going to be useful for us. And this is, see, I didn't even know this. Oh, James has retweeted the pedophile hoax against me. Oh, well, isn't that nice of James? Isn't that nice of James? Doesn't that just show exactly the type of person James Lindsay is? And that is why the war against James Lindsay will continue in perpetuity. Because, listen, man, once people call me a pedophile, like, when there is, by the way, I can sue anyone for defamation that calls me that, by the way, if I really feel like playing dirty, which I haven't done yet, but maybe coming at some point, because this shit's getting ridiculous. I don't have kids. I'm not around kids. I've never been convicted of anything. I've never even been charged with anything. I don't even fucking like kids. And I must be like the worst pedophile in the history of pedophiles, because really I go out of my way to not be around kids. So I'm a really bad fucking pedophile if I'm a pedophile, because like, can anyone even provide me with photographic evidence of me ever being around a child? I'm serious. Can anyone provide me with photographic evidence of me holding a child, or high-fiving with a child, or being next to a child? Does this exist anywhere on the internet? Because I really do my very, very, very best to never be around children at all. And so I would like for all the people who say I'm a pedophile to provide me with just 1 ounce of evidence. Have you ever even seen me in the same place as a child at the same time? Best of luck finding that. Best of luck. Well, the problem is it's really fucking expensive to sue for defamation. This is why I haven't done it yet. It is really, really, really fucking expensive, and it's a giant pain in the ass. And I would absolutely win against anyone who calls me a pedophile, because they're doing defamation per se, which is a serious crime. But it's always been like, for me, the question has always been like, do I really want to dedicate? I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. Do I want to dedicate tens of thousands of dollars to this when I'm probably never going to get paid back from it, when nothing is actually really going to change from it? Do I really want to do that? Or do I want to focus on other things? And do I want to treat it as an IQ test? Because literally, if you can provide 0 evidence that I'm like ever even been in the same room as a child at the same time, let alone being left alone with that child at the same time, I would sooner shoot myself in the foot. Okay, so Rationalist, I will wait for your check for $2,500 to get that letter written, because that's how much that's going to cost. $2,500 for a cease and desist letter that is going to do nothing and not be enforceable at all. See, this is the problem, guys. You guys think it's all so easy just to sue people, but like, who wants to pay it? Does anyone want to donate $2,500 to me right now? If anyone wants to donate $2,500 to me right now to write a letter that isn't even enforceable anyway, I will be more than happy to accept it, and I will send it to the lawyer and we'll get the letter. But like, this is what we're talking about. And that's for 1 fucking letter. That's for 1 fucking letter. Now you want to try a lawsuit? It's like, people throw out these things that are so, they see, just sue them. Okay, well, okay, I'll be waiting for your donation check. When was the last time you donated money to what I'm doing? Because I fund all the work I'm doing out of donations. And so, see, this is the problem. It's like, is it really that I want to, like, if it were easy, I already would have done it. If it weren't ungodly expensive, I already would have done it. If it wasn't going to be a total massive suck on my time, I already would have done it. It is what it is. We have to treat this as an IQ test, guys. If people are really so stupid that they think I'm a pedophile because James Lindsay says, pinky swear, trust me, bro, but I've never actually been charged with anything. I've never been convicted of anything. I don't even like kids. I have a long track record of actually exposing grooming in schools and talking about this. I mean, there's overwhelming evidence for anyone that wants to look. I don't even like kids. There are no pictures of me with kids. There's no instances where I want to be around kids. I am never in the same place as kids so long as I can help it. If people can't process actual real world evidence and they just take James Lindsay saying, pinky swear, trust me, bro, those people are fucking stupid. Can we all agree on that? Those people are stupid. We don't want to spend time on them. So that's why I haven't sued. Honestly, it's not that I wouldn't win. I would absolutely win. What is the cost of that? And would it fuck up other things? I mean, that's just the way it goes. Anyway, here is what we're going to be watching today. This is going to be from our friend Stu Studio. Mass call to defend abortion and LGBTQ plus rights. This was recorded just right after the election on November 10th, 2024. So about a month ago now, right? Exactly. A month ago as of yesterday. Instead of investing in gender justice, the Democratic Party prioritized funding genocide over reproductive health care and the votes of transphobic Republicans over defending the health and dignity of transgendered youth. Now Donald Trump will take the White House on January 20th, 2025. Donald Trump is a rapist. He is a leader of a fascist, white supremacist, patriarchal faction on a mission to ban abortion nationwide, get rid of reproductive health care, protect abusers over survivors, and criminalize queer and trans people. This might actually be more leftist than I originally thought it was. The Equal Rights Amendment is the permanent, comprehensive tool we... Oh, oh, God. Oh, God. We're talking about the ERA again? I thought that was deader than dead. Oh, no. President Biden must publish the Equal Rights Amendment now. We have 74 days until Donald Trump returns to the White House. In those 74 days, President Biden must take decisive and bold action to protect our freedoms. We have the power to demand President Biden publish the ERA, which must organize around our communities. We must save ourselves. Are you in? And then he wrote a Twitter thread about the event that you can see here where they're talking about the ERA. And we're going to watch this event and we're going to see what we think about it. And that's what we're going to do today, guys. We're going to do a good old-fashioned we're watching leftist stuff and we're talking about leftist stuff. And that's what we're going to do. And what I want to see in this is I want to know if they're planning anything around the inauguration. I want to know what protests they're planning. I want to know what organizing we can actually expect to see from them in this case. I think that's going to be really informative. I think we're going to start seeing over the next couple weeks a lot of very big leftist groups converging around organizing, around protesting the inauguration. And so this is going to give us a good glimpse of where they're at with that, and it's going to give us a glimpse of what we can expect at the inauguration, which I think we're going to have massive leftist protests at the inauguration myself, and I think if we can watch the process of them organizing leading up to that, that'll give us a good idea of who the groups are, who's actually involved in it, who's not involved in it, what we can expect to see, things like that. So I think it's going to be really interesting from that perspective. That's what we're going to be watching today. We're going to have kind of a chill day. As a reminder, guys, if you want to support the work I'm doing, you can head over to my Substack, which is Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com, where you get all my latest breakdowns from far left, about far leftist ideas and propaganda and stuff like that. I'm digging through a lot of queer Marxist zines that appeared in the 90s and the 2000s that really show us how the ideology today was formed. It's really interesting. You can check out a couple of them on the Substack now. We're also doing Woke 101, which is basically, they're actually chapters from my forthcoming book that I'm working on, where I'm talking about common questions about communism that people can go in. For example, why do communists say that real communism has never been tried? Why do they say that? Well, there is actually a reason for that. Why do communists say that why do communists engage in capitalism if they say they want to abolish capitalism? There is actually an answer to that, and it's not just that they're dumb, and it's not just that they're hypocrites. There is actually a reason for that. Why do one I'm going to be working on and hopefully publishing today, why do communists want communism in America? Why don't they just move to communist countries? There is a reason for that. And so that's what I've got going up on the Woke 101 series, so you can find those articles there. Also, if you become a founding member on my Substack, which is, it's like the highest level of support. So normally my Substack, if you want to support the work I'm doing, is $8 a month, $80 a year. And I do really appreciate everyone who supports my work. I can't do it without you guys. But at my highest level on the Substack, which is a founding member level, which is $250 for the year, I wanted to offer an extra added benefit. Whereas if you are a founding member on either carlin.substack.com or speaksocialist.substack.com, you get to claim a free t-shirt in the Unwoke Art Store. You can pick out any t-shirt you want, any color you want, any size, obviously. And basically what happens is you sign up as a founding member on either Substack, carlin.substack.com, or speaksocialist.substack.com, where I'm publishing my new, the draft chapters of my book before it actually becomes a book. You can sign up on either or both. If you sign up as a founding member on both, you get 2 t-shirts. How cool is that? But when you support my work at that level, you're going to be able to go in and you will get an email immediately with a link to the shirt. But then you're also, if you want to find the link to basically submit your request for whatever shirt you want, it is in the bottom of the post. That is true on both websites. You can find it there. And of course, this does really help to support the work I'm doing. If I had to make a recommendation, if you had to choose between one or the other, I would say go for Speak Socialist, to be honest, because Speak Socialist is my premium only site, and it is where I'm publishing the draft chapters of my forthcoming book before it's actually released. So you get to actually read the book as it's being written. You don't have to wait for it or anything. And so all the posts on this Substack and the audio companion podcast are all premium. They're all members only. And so if you are choosing between one or the other, I put out a lot of free content on my main Substack, and I do do have a lot of support via there, which I really do appreciate. But every single article on this Substack is premium. And so that would be the one I would choose if I had to choose between the two. But you can do whichever you want. And if you already have a monthly or an annual membership, you can upgrade to the Founders membership in order to take advantage of the free t-shirt. If you're looking for other ways to support my work, just check out this article on my main Substack, How to Support Journalism and Education Exposing the Left, where I give you lots of things you can do, including making a one-time gift, giving gift donations, donating subscriptions, shopping in the merch store, funding my next book, joining me for live streams, of course. And if you haven't followed me on social media, on Twitter or on Telegram, if you want those notifications sent to your phone when I go live, please make sure to do it. I will just pop the link in the chat. And of course, sharing the work I'm doing, sharing it with your friends and family, that's always really helpful to me, and I really do appreciate it. All right, let's dig in, and let's just get started with our mass call. And I need everyone to mount the like button for me, if you would be so kind. Mounting the like button lets people know to come and watch the stream, and that would be cool. Let me get my setup here. Bing. Bing. There we go. Now I'm bigger. You can see me. All right. Let's get this party started. Let's see what happened in this here organizing call. Go back to the beginning. There we go.
Can everyone hear me?
I can.
So good to see people.
Nation doesn't actually exist. He says that you but
Sure.
I told you.
Take down here! Basement can't get
Find everyone to check if they're
Socialist
muted.
technology. Socialist technology. Excuse me. Are we in a waiting room now? Waiting room music. Maybe we should just fast forward a little bit. It's not letting me fast forward. Why isn't it letting me fast forward? Because no. All right. It's not letting me do
Hey, can everyone message in the chat like what their name is and where you're tuning in from?
Yes, tell us all your names, please. Please and thank you. That would be really helpful. Tell us all your names and where you're from. Please repeat what's in the chat so we all know where these people are from.
Recording in progress.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. We have Anna from North Carolina, Riley from Florida, Ash from Virginia, Anne from Oregon, Emily from Michigan, Angelina from Dallas, Sarah from New York, Stephanie from Florida, Gia from New York, and Ali from Dallas. Okay, and there's so much more. Okay, it's so excited to see. I'm so excited to see so many of you guys here. Thank you all for coming and joining tonight. My name is Claudia Nachega. I'm the Deputy Executive Director at the Young Feminist Party. And tonight we are co-anchoring this call with the Feminist Front. And you're going to hear from our brilliant organizers tonight about...
Hey, bot, can we look up both the Young Feminist Party and Feminist Front? Look at that logo. That's funny.
Like post-election landscape, what we're working with, and how we are going to build back and defend abortion and queer rights through advocating for the Equal Rights Amendment in the next few months leading up to Trump's inauguration. So we're going to talk about strategies, we're going to talk about a new campaign, we're going to talk about actions that everyone on this call can plug into and support our fight against fascism, and our pursuit of gender justice. I just want to take a moment and...
What does gender justice mean? Pop quiz for the chat. What does gender justice mean? Oh, this feminist front thing looks really... It looks like it could be something to pay attention to. Looks like it could be a nice little gold mine. What does gender justice mean, guys? Thank you, bot. I got the other link as well. Gender justice means gender equity. What does gender equity mean? It means abolishing gender. What else does it mean? Yeah, well, abortion rights are part of it. Why are abortion rights part of gender justice? Full equity between men and women. What does that mean? Aha! Eliminating the hierarchy. No more patriarchy. How do we eliminate the hierarchy? We eliminate the hierarchy by abolishing gender entirely. That's how you eliminate the gender hierarchy, because gender is a social construct that was created by capitalism. This is according to the left. I don't think this. I'm explaining what they think. Gender is a social construct that was created by capitalism that put men in the workplace, women in the home. The only way to get rid of gender inequity is to abolish gender entirely. That's what gender justice means. It means liberation from the gender binary, which is a construct of capitalism. It means they believe that gender is just a performance. Nope, doesn't mean that at all. Completely wrong. Please listen to what we're saying. It doesn't mean that at all. It has nothing to do with that, actually, other than white men wouldn't exist under this either. Women wouldn't exist under this. Men wouldn't exist under this. Abortion rights does free women from the gender binary. It frees women from doing the unpaid labor of raising the nuclear family. Oh, so you think you know more than me? You think you know more than me? Oh, yeah? Sit in your timeout and think about it. You come back with that in my chat, you're going to get banned. Let's continue.
Acknowledge just the weight of the election results, and just the fact that we are living in very scary times right now. I'm not sure how many of us thought that we would be living to see a second Trump presidency rise again. I certainly didn't think I would. When I first heard of Trump, he was running for president in 2016. That's when I was in middle school, and now I'm in college, and it's still happening. So tonight, we're gathered here today. We've grieved, but now it's time for us to build up and organize. And it's so good to have you guys on this call so that we can talk it out, we can strategize, and we can get it going. So
Melania is not pro-abortion to them. Melania might be pro-abortion to you. Melania is not pro-abortion to them. Pop quiz for the chat. What does pro-abortion mean to these people? What do these people define as pro-abortion? Remember, what you define as pro-abortion doesn't really mean anything. What do these people define as pro-abortion? No, you're not listening. Why aren't you listening? Why do you think your opinion matters more than these people's? You're not listening. So now we're just going to go to Andrew. Andrew. Only for Andrew. What do leftists mean when they say pro-abortion? No, that's not correct. They would say it. But what do they mean by it? Do you think you get to create the definition that they use? No, they get to create the definition that they use. So their definition is the only definition that matters. What's their definition, do you think? What do they believe makes someone pro-abortion? Abortion frees women from being oppressed by capitalism via the gender binary that requires them to have children they don't want, to raise them, doing unpaid labor to feed the capitalist system within the nuclear family. What do you think they mean when they say pro-abortion? Nope, wrong. Do you want to try again? See, this is why you listen. This is why people come here to listen, not to assert their opinions, because when you guys assert your opinions, you don't know what you're talking about. So it's time to unlearn that and learn something else. Last chance, and I'm going to go to the chat. What do these people mean when they say pro-abortion? People in the chat have already gotten it right. Let's go to the chat. Pro-abortion to these people means free abortion on demand anytime up until birth. That is what it means to be pro-abortion. Melania Trump is not free abortion on demand anytime up until birth. That's what they say. Free abortion at any time, on demand, without restriction. That is what these people mean when they say pro-abortion. Let's continue.
I think we have a slides presentation also set up for you guys as well. I'm not sure if you guys can see it with the spotlight on. Can I have someone from the tech team figure it out? Okay, it's coming up. Okay, so we're going to start off with just like taking a look at the landscape and what's coming ahead. And our policy director, Arush Santoshi from the Young Feminist Party, is going to break it down for y'all.
Okay, hi everyone.
Well, so Postcard says pro-abortion is freeing women from privatized care. No, not really. They want universal health care to free everyone from privatized care. So that's not just an abortion thing. The reason that they're pro-abortion is that abortion liberates women from the gender binary, because the gender binary is a social construct created by capitalism, put men in the workplace, it put women in the home, and forced them to do the unpaid labor of raising the next generation of proletarian workers who would be oppressed under capitalism via the nuclear family, which is also the reproduction mechanism for capitalism. But when women don't have access to, I'm saying what they think, not what I think. When women don't have access to free abortion on demand up until birth, they are restricted and oppressed by the patriarchal gender binary that was created by capitalism that forces them to stay in the home and birth and raise the kids, which they're not paid to do. These people believe they should be paid to do it. That's part of what the whole UBI thing is. And so that's why it's related back to all of this. No, this is a fucking classroom. You're literally on my fucking channel. You are in my fucking classroom. I am the teacher in the class. You are the student in the class. If you don't like that dynamic, you can get the fuck out. In fact, I'm going to make the decision easier for you. You're banned. Goodbye. You don't want to be in a classroom? Go somewhere else. Not welcome here. This is my classroom. If you are in my chat and you are participating in my chat, you either recognize that I am the teacher of the class and you are the student of the class, or you get the fuck out. This is my channel. This is not yours.
It's actually so amazing to see that we're at capacity on the Zoom call. The energy is here, and I'm so excited that we're all sharing this space. Like Claudia said, my name is Arush. I work.
It's universally the people who do not recognize that I am the teacher of the class and that you are the students in the class. Those people never know what the left actually says or what the left actually thinks. They can't define basic leftist concepts. They have no idea what's going on. So that's why we kick them out. Not only do they have no idea what's going on, they want to come in and cause problems and assert that they know more than me, quite frankly, and they don't. No, they are liberated when they abort their babies because they are not forced to do the unpaid labor of raising future oppressed proletarian workers. That's what they believe. Stop putting this dissident fucking right-winger spin on it. This isn't helpful. It doesn't make you sound smart. It actually makes you... Andrew, you sound like a fucking retard when you do this. Do you understand that? To me, to the other people in the chat that take this stuff seriously, when you do this shit of trying to own the libs, bro, you sound like a fucking retard to us that has no idea what's going on. So, if you want to keep sounding like a fucking retard, I guess go ahead. But wouldn't it be better for you to actually learn something? Why are you here if you don't want to learn?
With YFP's national policy team. And I just want to ground us in the political moment that we're in. Not that we all don't know what's going on, but I think it's helpful to be explicit about what's going on, the wins and losses that happened on Tuesday and in the coming days. So starting with wins, I think it's important to acknowledge where things went amazingly. So 10 states had abortion-related ballot initiatives on the ballot this year, and 7 of those states passed their resolutions. So shout out to Missouri, Arizona, Colorado, Maryland, Montana, Nevada, and New York. New York specifically passed a super expansive state equal rights amendment that includes explicit protections for sex, sexual orientation, and pregnancy outcomes, which is super amazing. And the totality of these measures permanently protected the right to abortion for 8.2 million people of reproductive age. So this is super exciting, and I think just a testament to the work that this movement can accomplish and the wins that we can generate. Unfortunately, there were also some losses. In Nebraska, the abortion measure failed, and instead voters voted to enshrine more abortion restrictions in the Constitution. In South Dakota, a similar measure failed. In Florida, we fell just shy of the anti-democratic 60% threshold needed to pass ballot initiatives like this. Interestingly enough, the vote to increase the threshold to 60% won with only 57% of voter approval. So it was truly because of the anti-democratic nature of Florida's process that the legislation failed. But also shout out to organizers in those 3 states who worked tirelessly.
Why do leftists consider it to be anti-democratic to require a 60% threshold to pass certain initiatives? Why is he saying Florida is an anti-democratic state because it requires 60% of the voters to approve stuff like this? Does anyone know? Because that's more than the majority. Yup. What does that mean? Does anyone know what that means? That's true as well. So some people are restricted from voting, but that's not why he's saying it's anti-democratic. The state is part of the capitalist government, and it's not how socialists want to be represented. Close, yup. Because it's not equal representation. Close, yup. Because they think simple majority equals democracy. Why do they think simple majority equals democracy? Why do they believe that a simple majority means a democracy? And if you don't have it based on a simple majority, you are not a democracy. What do they mean when they say democracy? And what does that type of world look like? When they say democracy, they mean socialism. Yup. Each person is equal. Otherwise, each person gets an equal vote. They don't believe in representation like a republic. That's exactly right. They believe that anything that is not direct proportional representation is not a democracy. So they don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in the Electoral College. They don't believe in the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court is unelected. They don't believe in the Senate because the Senate is not via proportion. The Senate is basically it's 2 senators per state, which is not proportional. So that throws off their game. They don't even believe in the executive branch of the government because that's not a proportional thing. They're on board with some sort of House of Representatives style thing. That's basically it. The reason that they only want 50% is because they win when there's only 50%. It is the 60% threshold. It is the other thresholds. It is the fact that the Senate is not proportional representation. It is the fact that the Electoral College does exist. It is the fact that the Supreme Court does exist. These other checks on mob rule, because that's really what they want. They want the rule of the mob. The 50% threshold gives them the rule of the mob. So pro-abortion is nope. I didn't say that. What on earth? Hang on, postcard. What makes you think that they want women to exist? Based on what we are, postcard, can you define what they mean when they say gender justice for me or gender equity? This is just for postcard. Can you define what they mean by gender justice or gender equity? Postcard, we're waiting for you. What do they mean by gender justice or gender equity? Why on earth would you think they want the same outcome for all women? Well, we'll deal with the name thing later. I'm not worried about being called the wrong name. Why do you believe that they want the same outcome for all women? What sense does that make when you consider what gender justice or gender equity means? Postcard, please don't hold up the stream. Just answer the question. I hate it when people do this. I hate it when I ask people a question and they don't answer it. Because it holds up the rest of the stream for everyone else. Postcard, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to answer this question, and then I'm putting you in a timeout, and I'm continuing the stream. If you do this again, you're going to get banned, and I don't dislike you. I don't dislike you at all, but I don't like it when people do this. So can you answer the question? Don't tell me you're sorry, just answer the question. I'll answer it. No, that's not the question that I asked. That's not the question I asked at all. Why aren't you listening? What does gender justice mean? Gender justice means the abolition of all gender, because that's the only way you create gender equity, is to abolish gender entirely. Men and women are a social construct that was created by the gender binary, which was created by capitalism to put men in the workplace, women in the home, doing the unpaid labor, raising the next generation of proletarian worker. The way you get men and women on the same level is by abolishing the hierarchy between gender. The way you abolish the hierarchy between gender is by abolishing gender entirely. And we just answered this question at the beginning of the stream. You guys think I'm being mean when I harp on you to listen to what's said, but then you come out with questions like this that don't make sense at all given the context of what we're talking about. What I'm teaching you to do is to think through the questions you have based on what they believe. But if you're not listening to what they believe, if you're not listening to the explanations, and you're not engaging in the process, because postcard right now you're not engaging in the process, you are not going to be able to understand this content. Let's continue.
And I'm sure carved out a path to future victories in incoming elections. Some other electoral wins: Angela Alsobrooks defeated Larry Hogan to become Maryland's first Black senator, and this will be the first Senate in which 2 Black women are serving simultaneously. And also Representative-elect Sarah McBride is going to become the first openly trans member of Congress for Delaware's at-large district. So a lot of wins happened this cycle that we should all be very proud of, and hopefully we can reflect on and
Are you fucking serious? No. No. You didn't. You didn't get it right at all. You were nowhere in the realm of the answer that was given. Postcard, I'm putting you in a timeout. You can sit and think. You can sit and think.
And hold true as we talk about the stuff that kind of went wrong. And that goes to the second bullet point: Republican control. Republicans have won a trifecta, essentially. They have the presidency, they have the Senate. They don't have a filibuster-proof majority, but it's still a sizable majority. And the House, although it hasn't been called, will likely also be Republican. SCOTUS, obviously, it's a supermajority right now in favor of the conservative perspective, and Trump has the potential to appoint more justices. There's speculation that Justices Thomas and Alito could step down and be replaced by younger appointees, which would cement the conservative majority for years to come. And I think that's materializing as we speak right now. Just this term, the Supreme Court is going to hear a major trans rights case called Scrimeti v. US, and that's jumping down a little bit. Essentially, this is a challenge that was waged by trans minors, their parents, and healthcare providers in the state of Tennessee, who argued that the state's ban on gender-affirming care violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. And so the Supreme Court is going to hear that this term. And We know how they're inclined to rule, but we also want to make sure that we're present in that conversation. We'll talk about that later in the call. And now for Project 2025 and GOP threats, there are multiple avenues of planned gender attack. Because of the trifecta, and also because they won the popular vote, Republicans are likely going to be galvanized to implement aspects of Project 2025 into their agenda. That could include the potential for a national abortion ban and blanket restrictions on trans-affirming care, the complete erosion of Title IX, potentially on par with what we saw under Betsy DeVos during the first Trump administration, the further victimization of queer and trans youth. These are all realities that we're going to have to contend with, but also I hope that we can hold space for the victories that we have this cycle and the fact that a new progressive generation of lawmakers is going to be in Congress fighting for us and for our needs.
All right. Thank you so much, Arush, for giving us a really good rundown of what we're dealing with, our wins and losses from the election. So right now we're going to have Sophia and Grace from the Feminist Front talk about what we're going to do to build coalition, take action, and meeting the moment that we're all existing in right now. Okay, I was going to share the slides, although I don't have access to share right now.
You got it now. You got it, Queen.
Okay, beautiful. We got it.
Well, so I want to acknowledge this. So Janet is saying, and this is a good piece of advice, and this is for people who, you know, intend on actually learning this stuff. I recommend people start taking notes if you haven't already. That way it's easier to remember what you're learning. A lot of people have notebooks that they use to jot things down when they're watching my content. But honestly, the very best way to learn this stuff is to participate in the chat and to participate in the teaching of this information and to answer the quizzes and questions when I do it, and to make sure you can repeat back what's being said. That is the best way to learn this stuff. And yes, when you do that, you might occasionally answer questions wrong or incorrect, in which case I'll say, no, that's wrong, or no, that's incorrect, and here's why that's wrong, or here's why that's incorrect. I might rib you a little bit if you say something exceptionally stupid that you basically should have thought through better. But honestly, the very best way to learn this stuff is to participate in the chat and to participate in the process. And so when people just actively don't participate, especially people that I put on the spot and ask questions, that is actually a sign to me that they're not really interested in learning, because you might get things wrong sometimes when you're learning. That's the way it goes. But if you're not going to participate, if you're going to opt out because of your own ego, that to me tells me you're not quite there yet. But if you actually want to learn, participating is the very best way to do it.
All right. Okay, can everyone see this? We good? I just want to make sure everyone can see the screen.
No, it's not loaded in yet.
Yeah, it's just blank.
Really?
These guys are winning. They're winning.
So it's
They're
my
beating all of us.
screen share
They're
is
winning.
paused.
Can't even use Zoom. They're winning.
Oh, it's still loading. Okay.
Good. Okay, Claudia, I can start sharing again because we have the live stream link up, which will be dropped in the chat in just a second.
Okay, beautiful.
They literally can't do a screen
I
share.
see it up now.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, and now we're going to pass it off to Sophia and Grace from the Feminist Front.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Wait, now we cannot hear you. So
Well, let's all welcome Albert. As someone who opposes communism, I'm surprised that I haven't encountered your channel before. It's because I'm shadow banned to high heaven. But welcome, Albert. We're glad that you're here. Thank you, bot. Who the fuck are you? Let's see. Has this person ever chatted in on my channel before? Let's see. Nope, this person has never chatted in on my channel. Carolyn, you should know that a social contract is constructed by a performative act. Example includes signing a contract marriage. Gender has never been a social construct by the left's own definition. You say it's a cultural construct. You don't know anything. Except, asshole, that I have them on video calling it a social construct. Literally. Multiple times. So, you're not smart enough to be here. Goodbye. This is what I have to deal with. I have to deal with stupid conservatives to my right, fucking ridiculous gaslighting leftists to my left.
Sophia.
Okay, we'll pass it off to Grace.
We'll pass it off to Hi everyone. I'm Grace.
So I just want to say another huge thank you for coming. We want to ground each other in what this
theirs, not mine. It's their technology, not mine. It's not mine, it's them. Socialists getting their technology problems together.
Hi everyone. I'm Grace. Sophia is our co-chair of the Feminist Front. I'm the organizing director of the Feminist Front. We are so excited to be on this call to meet all of you guys.
So
They're all just trying to smile and act like this is perfectly fine.
Exactly. Sophia is too powerful. She's breaking the Zoom. We're just like, it's so amazing to see so
apologies, folks. We're having some tech.
Now I can hear you, Sophia. All good. I just wanted to say thank you everyone for being on this call. It's so amazing to see so many people. Really just like, thank you for being here in this moment. And it's so important for everyone
all
to
for being here today in this
really
moment.
just, stay here grounded in this moment and rise to this moment. We at the Feminist Front are I don't know how many people are familiar with our organization. We're here as a coalition of folks, youth ages 15 to 35, fighting for gender justice, for reproductive rights, racial justice. And we're just so excited to meet all of you guys. We work really closely with the Young Feminist Party on this issue, and we're really, really excited to be in coalition with them and believe that we are stronger together. And with all of us, we can actually affect change and get this done. So I just wanted to say thank you again to the Young Feminist Party for having us on, having us co-anchor this space.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Grace. We loved hearing from you, and we want to pass it off to Pooja to give us a rundown of our legislative and electoral strategy that we're going to undertake in terms of pushing for immediate ERA publication and putting pressure on Congress and the White House, i.e. Biden, to get it done.
Thanks, Claudia. Can everyone hear me okay?
Why is she in the dark?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Why is she in her car?
Sorry. Policy director for the and I am excited to present on what our strategy is going to be going forward regarding legislative and executive action. So the ERA, as you all know, has met all the requirements it needs to be the 28th Amendment to our Constitution. So right now, all we are asking is for it to be published and for the National Archivist to sign it into our Constitution. Those are just the last two simple steps that we need. I know it sounds so simple, but it's been really hard to get those last two steps going. And we have a couple of resolutions in Congress right now that we have been pushing for years now. And sorry, I'll talk a little slower. So the first one is in Congress regarding the deadline. So this is to remove the deadline off of the Equal Rights Amendment that was placed as a limit. And this is HJ Res 28 and SJ Res in the Senate right now. And we also have another resolution called the ERA Now resolution, and this affirms the Equal Rights Amendment as a 28th Amendment to the Constitution and calls on the national. Oh, I'm breaking up. Okay. I'm gonna pass it to Arush, who you guys heard from earlier. If my audio is breaking up, sorry about that, guys.
Hi, no, you're so good, Pooja. Yeah, so I can jump in and quickly explain this. So there's two main paths towards ERA publication at this point, right? So one is congressional action, and this is probably the most safe path in terms of avoiding judicial challenges, which will come either way. So there's the piece of legislation, HJ Res 28 and SJ Res 4, which is to remove the deadline on the Equal Rights Amendment. So our targets for this campaign are lame duck House Republicans. So these are Republicans in purple districts who just lost their elections to Democratic challengers. A good example is Mark Molinaro in New York, and Senate Democratic leadership.
They think they're going to get Republicans
for this legislation to pass,
side?
It would need to get voted on in both chambers of Congress. And so we hope that targeting moderate Republicans who really have nothing to lose because they won't be in Congress next year is a viable path towards getting this legislation passed in the House. And so our ask is the ERA Now discharge petition and Senate filibuster removal. A discharge petition essentially allows legislation to be removed from a committee. So currently, because the House is controlled by Republicans, progressive legislation like the ERA deadline removal is being held up in committee. So a discharge petition, which requires a simple majority, would discharge the legislation from that petition and bring it to the House floor for a vote, even against the wishes of the majority leader. Likewise, Senate filibuster removal is super important because the filibuster is also inherently anti-democratic and stands in the way of progress on all fronts.
That's what we talked about earlier. The filibuster is anti-democratic because it doesn't give them complete mob rule over everything,
including the Equal Rights Amendment. So asking for a filibuster removal or a carve-out exception for abortion rights, and as we know, the Equal Rights Amendment is inherently and intimately tied to abortion rights, could be a path forward for making this legislation successful in the Senate. And even if these asks are specifically unsuccessful, there's a general thing of pressure. Something that we have learned from doing work in Congresses controlled by Republicans, or where one of both chambers are controlled by Republicans, is that those kind of off sessions are important times for coalition work and building up coalitions so that when there is an amenable majority, progress can happen fast and instantly. And so a through line is congressional pressure. Another avenue for ERA publication is the White House. So a target is to ask President Biden to immediately publish the Equal Rights Amendment. He is also a lame duck president. He can take swift and decisive action that will cement his legacy as the president who put women, queer people, non-binary people in our Constitution. And we think this is also a viable path forward.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Arush, for explaining to us our legislative strategy when it comes to getting the ERA across the finish line. We know that Biden and Congress can do so much more, especially given the fact that Biden is a lame duck president. And with a single signature, one instruction towards the National Archivist, we can get the ERA in the Constitution. Now,
is that real, by the way?
We have to build.
Does anyone know? I don't know enough about the process of I haven't followed the ERA stuff at all. So does anyone know if that's actually true that all that has to happen to get the ERA in the Constitution is for Biden to sign it and to tell the archivist to do it? Is that true? Yeah, that doesn't sound right to me. Lame duck means he's not running for anything again, so he has nothing to lose. That doesn't sound right to me. But I don't know enough about this to know whether or not it's right.
Pressure to get there. And Ella Duncan High, our organizing director at the Young Feminist Party, is going to explain to you how we're going to get it done in the next 72 days.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
But didn't something happen where, like, hang on. We're going to chat GPT this shit. In order to get a constitutional amendment passed, it would have to go to the states, and I would say, I think it did that, though. I'm pretty sure it did that. I think there was a news story. I feel like there was a news story like a year or two ago saying the ERA had finally met the threshold of states because they've been trying to, but they met the threshold from states outside of the timeline or something like that. Has the ERA, I'm chat GPTing this, been approved by all the required states to be in the Constitution? And thank you, Asnerwing, for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Let's see. No, ChatGPT says it has not. Okay, so here's what happened. So it got ratified by 30. Okay, so it got approved by Congress in 1972. And then it got sent to the states for ratification, which had a 7-year time limit. So you have a 7-year limit from the time it's approved by Congress to the time that it's ratified by the states. By the time that 7 years was up, they only had approval from 35 states, but they needed 38 states to approve it to get it in the Constitution. But since the deadline passed, Nevada, Illinois, and then Virginia in 2020 all ratified the ERA. So it has actually technically been ratified by, well, if you have something else to add, you can put the information in the chat. But as long as you don't have something else to add, don't poo-poo the information when it's being given, bro. Like, put it in the chat. So what it's saying is that it did not meet the time threshold, but it has since had the state threshold. So could Biden sign the ERA and put it in the Constitution? Let's see. No, he cannot unilaterally put it in the Constitution. Hang on. So basically, it would have to go through the entire process again because it didn't meet the deadline. So they're just fundamentally wrong in their supposition to this, which is kind of funny.
Can everybody hear me okay? I know we've been having some crazy technical difficulties. So
beautifully, Ella.
Amazing. Awesome. Okay, so really quick, before I get into our whole escalation arc and what we're really on this here call to learn about and to get plugged into, first and foremost, the ERA stands.
But not within the timeline. Not within the timeline that was required. Yeah, ChatGPT just told me it would have to go back and do the process again because of the timeline.
For the Equal Rights Amendment. And the Equal Rights Amendment is going to be a foundational piece of an amendment in our U.S. Constitution that will guarantee not only the right to abortion, but also protection for queer people and to have women and queer people in our Constitution and our protections represented. And
listen, just because they're completely wrong in their presupposition that Biden can just sign the ERA and make it part of the Constitution, you need to put that in a separate category. This is one of those instances where every part of your being is going to want to debunk these people and say, but that can't happen because the ERA can't go in the Constitution right now. Like, you're going to want to debunk them. But what I want you to listen to are the arguments that they're making. Like, why do they want to do this? What are they trying to do? Things like that. So put aside the whole ERA thing. It's more about, like, why do they want this? What is the goal with this? What are they trying to achieve with this? And they're talking about queer rights and all this bullshit. So that's what we need to listen for here. And the reason I say that is if we spend the entire stream just saying, well, you can't do that with the ERA, it's like it's a wasting of an opportunity to understand why they're trying to do this.
Can go across all different boards, from sexual assault to equal pay, the whole shebang. So if you mind going over to the next slide, let's go ahead and get into what our escalation arc is going to look like over these next 72 days leading up to inauguration.
And by the way,
all right, so here's a big
just as a side note, I'm pretty sure that psycho troll that keeps making new accounts to come in the chat, I don't actually think that's Poetry Painter. I think that's Lauren D. Laguna, who is a whole other set of psycho. And so I was like, I don't know if anyone has ever heard of Lauren D. Laguna. I don't know why she's all of a sudden going fucking schizo about me, but it was definitely her in the chat the other day, and I think the psycho that keeps coming in the chat and saying insane things, I'm almost positive it's Lauren D. Laguna. I'm pretty sure the person who was talking about, like, they have to enter into a marriage contract, I'm almost positive that's Lauren D. Laguna, because she thinks she's a fucking lawyer, and so she like, that's how she frames her arguments. So I think that's, yeah, she's a psycho. She's legitimately fucking crazy. I haven't even thought about this woman in over a year, and she's apparently unhinged about me and thinking about me every day and like making new accounts to come into my chat and cause problems. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these internet people? Honestly, what the fuck is wrong with them? Well, I don't know. She was obsessed. Like Lauren D. Laguna was obsessed with me before I ever even knew who she was. The reason I even know who Lauren D. Laguna is because she got obsessed with me. I have no idea. Like, I don't get it, but okay, whatever.
Review right now of what we have planned. Starting November 20th, we're going to go in with a Capitol Hill die-in. This is going to put direct pressure on one of our strategies, which is getting it through the House and the Senate. December 4th, we're going to be doing walkouts all across the country, and we're going to have a big action in DC to pressure Biden to publish the ERA. And then following all of these actions, we're going to be leading up all the way into January, determining what our space looks like right now, what the best path forward is, and we're going to be having different actions, different ways to get plugged in, and really putting this one last ditch pressure point into making sure that Biden publishes the ERA before he leaves office. So let's go ahead and get into our most exciting and most recent action that we're going to be having is the Capitol Hill die-ins on November 20th.
So they already did this.
So this is going to take place in Capitol Hill. We're going to be going through the House and Senate buildings, targeting lame duck House GOP targets. So these are going to be people who have lost their races, either have nothing to lose or have not yet signed on to the deadline removal or the discharge petition sign on. We're also going to be having people coming into Senate offices, Democratic Senate offices, to push for the filibuster removal for the Equal Rights Amendment itself. So this is not only going to have our bodies on the line, but we're going to be out there and present. And, you know, also this is a really great pressure point of Biden seeing these young people and seeing these young people put themselves in civil disobedience situations to really have this one last moment that we can get to publish the ERA. And then as you can see on the bottom too, until this and through November 20th, we're going to be having so many digital campaigns. We're going to be calling people. We're going to be sending emails. We are not going to let this be silent. We're going to be loud about this because we have to put in all we absolutely can to get this done. And if you can't come to one of these events in person, there are absolutely so many different things that we're going to get you plugged into, to doing things virtually and meeting you where you can get plugged in. So Capitol Hill die-ins, if you are interested in joining this action, I sent a link in the chat right here. This will take you directly to our Mobilize and you can sign up there. We'll have meetings prior, discussing what this is going to look like, discussing all that sort of stuff. So next, if we can move on to our next action. All right, so national walkouts in DC shut down, y'all.
Two ladies, thank you so much for the super chat. Good to see you back, and I hope everything's working out well with your family, and I hope you guys have a good holiday if I don't see you sooner. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Guys, we are bringing it back. We are going to be doing the high school walkouts. We're doing the campus walkouts. We want young people really to be on the front lines and make their voice heard and organize in their local communities. So this is going to be...
So these are the types of organizations that are actually organizing in public schools, just so people are aware. These people go into public schools. They work in organizations that have like partnerships with the schools. So they're connecting with your kids through like after school clubs and things like that. So this is the type of stuff you got to be on the lookout in public schools.
December 4th, which is the day of the infamous court hearing relating to trans and queer individual rights and autonomy. So not only are we going to be discussing this court case, but we're also going to be providing a solution. The Equal Rights Amendment is a foundational piece that will prevent things like this from happening again and making sure that queer people and queer youth don't have to deal with these heinous laws. Again, like I said, going to be on local places, high schools, campuses, but we're also going to be having a DC walkout to SCOTUS. So campuses in DC, anybody from DC in the Northern Virginia area and the Maryland area can come out and join us.
My lighter, honey.
Being in front of SCOTUS. Our demand this time, differently than what our...
Well, Rationalist is making a great point here. To be honest, they look a lot more put together than the activists on blast by Libs of TikTok. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Why do these activists look a lot more put together than the people you might see on Libs of TikTok? Because Libs of TikTok is the one driving the conservative narrative around who the left is. I think we can all agree on that. Why doesn't Libs of TikTok ever show people like this? Because Libs of TikTok is farming for outrage and click money. Libs of TikTok is about owning the libs. It's not about organizing. When you see people on Libs of TikTok, it's because they found the dumbest people in any crowd and they made them look dumb on video to own the libs because they aren't showing you the real activists. Libs of TikTok, it's not that it's not real. I understand, like, I say it's not real all the time, so I understand like, why you're saying that. I do. But, like, to be just really precise for a moment, it's not that what Libs of TikTok shows isn't real. It's that what Libs of TikTok shows are not the people who are actually driving the agenda. So in reference to who are leftist activists, who are leftist organizers, what Libs of TikTok says is not real at all. They're just like, they show people that are just like, I mean, retards mostly. I mean, they show dumb people. They show dumb people that are like layers down from these people. Every once in a while they show a real person. It's not that they never do, but it is extremely rare. Yeah, Libs of TikTok shows you all the freakiest people. It's outrage bait. It's like when you do on the street interviews and you're just trying to find like a dumb person to make them look dumb. And it's sad. It's really sad. The right could be so much more organized around this stuff than they are. They could be so much more informed. People like Libs of TikTok focus on the useful idiots. They don't focus on the organizers and the leaders. They don't even know who the organizers and the leaders are. Imagine a world in which someone with a platform like Libs of TikTok actually showed the real organizers, actually showed the real activists, actually showed the real people that are putting all this stuff together, that are driving every crazy idea, that are behind the scenes and all of this stuff. Imagine that world. Imagine how much more informed the right would be about who they're actually fighting. But Libs of TikTok doesn't want the right to be informed. They want the right to be outraged, so they click on their stuff and they reply to their stuff and they go, oh my God, these people are mentally ill. And it's just like, Libs of TikTok runs cover for people like this. Libs of TikTok runs cover for the people that are the real problem, because people like Libs of TikTok don't want to solve the real problem. They want the problem to perpetuate because Libs of TikTok gets rich based on the problem perpetuating. Does everyone understand that? If libs of TikTok showed real people, then conservatives might not be losing. But they all think they're winning because people like libs of TikTok are telling them so. Isn't it sad? What a missed opportunity.
Our demand is for Congress. So we are specifically asking Biden himself to publish the ERA. Like I said, this is the link. And
Good catch.
to do this right.
Lucky.
Another risk with this one is that there is a potential civil disobedience. Again, it's not the case for everybody. Those who don't want to be involved don't have to be involved.
Now everyone's muted. They just muted everyone. She doesn't even know she's
Ellie.
muted.
You're all good. Don't silence me. I'm just kidding. We'll have different ways on how you can get plugged in and be active differently. Publish the ERA. Publish the ERA means that putting it in the Constitution itself. So the Equal Rights Amendment has fulfilled all the necessary requirements of being an amendment in the Constitution.
Not being on
but
time.
The only thing that's standing in its way is the actual publication of it. So once Biden instructs the archivist to write it into the Constitution, that's what we're looking towards. So in here, I have a way that you can get involved. If you click the link, you can sign up for the December 4th walkout and the ERA Now movement. All right, perfect. That's it for me.
Okay, so I want to address a few questions that I'm seeing in the chat. And I think right now what we can do is let's stop the screen share. Rosie can stop the screen share and fix some things on the back end that we're going to share with you shortly. But in the meantime, I'll just address questions as they come head on. So number one question, why hasn't Biden published the Equal Rights Amendment? And what does it mean to publish the Equal Rights Amendment? So like Ella explained, the Equal Rights Amendment did pass. Not a lot of people know this. Despite the deadline, states still decided to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment, and the last state to do so was Virginia in 2020. So, as of a few years, President Biden and the courts are well aware that the Equal Rights Amendment has been duly ratified by the 38 necessary states for it to be in the Constitution. Now, because of this issue with the deadline, which most legal scholars in the United States, at least most of the relevant legal scholars in the United States, have basically said that the deadline is useless, and for all intents and purposes, the ERA is a part of our Constitution. Now, to actually get it into the Constitution, the president himself has to instruct the National Archivist, that's another bureaucratic figure under the executive branch, to literally publish it into the Constitution. So that's why we're pressuring Biden to publish it. We're also pressuring Congress basically to pass bills that will quote unquote formally remove the deadline, just because that is a procedural hurdle that some people want us to go through, and we'll do it.
So they're trying to say they're going to get a bill passed to remove the deadline to publish the ERA. Now it's all making sense. That's not going to work either, by the way.
Not because the deadline is valid, but because it is also a really good pressure point for Biden to look to and fulfill his mandate as president and put us in the Constitution. So I hope that answers a few questions. I will say, why is it called a die-in if we are just talking to politicians for Monica? So we're not just talking to politicians. The Capitol Hill die-in on November 20th is not just going to be a regular run-of-the-mill lobby meeting. Ideally, we want to have 20 organizers come in to Capitol Hill with us. We're going to I think visually our die-in is gonna look
Hang on, we got a super chat from Dragon Balls. Thank you, Dragon Balls, for the super chat. What the right keeps missing is the rationale behind the left. They reactions to Luigi and the UHC murder. Missed opportunity to delve into the why. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's the same old thing every time, isn't it? It's just like, I truly don't know how people don't just get tired of this. Like, it is exhausting to me to watch the same people go re. It's like I understand you're making money from Twitter and doing engagement bait, but doesn't it just get exhausting to just find something to be angry about all the time? I can't imagine living like that. I really hope people don't live like that. Like, it's okay to, like, people can do whatever they want, I guess. If you want to live in a state of constant outrage junkie, like, I guess it's your choice, it's your life, but it's so stupid, it doesn't accomplish anything.
Pretty compelling, and it's going to be an act of civil disobedience. Not in terms of risk level, not everyone who participates in the die-in has to take that heightened level of risk. Anyone is more than welcome to participate without doing that, but there will be a civil disobedience component in terms of not moving in the office when you are asked to leave. That's the part that puts the pressure on the office to take action. They're already going to know what our demands are. So it's not going to be your regular lobby meeting. This will be disruptive. We will be taking up space and we will be escalating action, as is essential to our quote unquote escalation arc. Okay. We have more questions. Will there be a sample letter list of emails and phone numbers for us to call for those that are far from DC? Okay, that's from Ali. Yes. So towards the end of the call, we're going to give you guys a bunch of resources that you can use in terms of filling out every actions and forms, etc., so that we're getting the message out to everyone in our movement and the elected leaders that we have to put pressure on in terms of removing the deadline on the Equal Rights Amendment, affirming it as the 28th Amendment, and directly calling upon Biden to take action and publish it into the Constitution.
Claudia, I think talking about the next steps and actions is going to answer some of these questions too. So if you want to get into that.
Okay, awesome. So next steps in action, either Ella or Sophia can take that on. Ella, Ella, go ahead. Ella will explain how y'all can plug in.
Thank you, Renan, for the $10 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Dragon Ball says they should use this lull in time pre-revolution to strategize, organize, learn the enemy, prepare, defend, fortify. Yeah, you're talking about Republicans? Yeah, they absolutely should, but they're too busy high-fiving each other and saying, we won, we won, we won. It's like, listen, this is a stupid idea the left, this is a stupid idea this organization has. They're never going to get the ERA in the Constitution. That's like never going to happen, but they're still doing it. They're still organizing around it. They're still building a community around it. They're still protesting around it. They're still trying. There is, even though this is a stupid topic, there is something admirable about the fact that, like, they actually believe, they're, like, in this, right? They're in the game. And it's like, this is why they win, because even though they have dumb ideas that are ill-considered, that are never going to work, if you just keep showing up consistently every day, eventually you're going to hit on an idea that will work. You might go through a lot of dumb ideas, but eventually you're going to hit on that idea that will work, and then you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And they end up hitting on ideas that work because they just keep showing up relentlessly. Whereas the right sits back, says, we won, Trump is going to save us, we won. And then they don't do anything. Even if they have better ideas, it doesn't matter because they aren't showing up. They aren't in the game. It's just infuriating. There is no reality in which Republicans are going to take up arms. Can we just dispense with that idea? Republicans won't go to a protest. Republicans won't organize a petition. Republicans won't buy a hat or a t-shirt unless it's Trump. There is no way in this universe that Republicans are just going to get up and take up arms. That's not going to happen. Ever. The Civil War is not going to be Republican versus Democrat. It's not going to be red versus blue. The Civil War is going to be radical revolutionary socialists versus the government. because Republicans aren't going to do shit. They're going to pretend they are. They're going to say 1776, bro. But they're never actually going to do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see here, we have a lovely list of different steps that you can take to getting involved in our escalation arc and our last few chances we have to get this published. So action number 1 is to endorse the ERA now and share around. So we have a link, and I will drop this right now in the chat. To endorse the ERA movement and our ERA Now campaign. I dropped the individual endorsement, but if you have an organization that you are a part of who on behalf of them you are interested in endorsing our campaign, you are absolutely welcome to fill out the second link that I just sent. So the first one is an individual and pledge to your commitment on taking action and moving this campaign along. And then the second one is your organization's endorsement. Action number 2 is to send a letter to Congress to demanding #ERA now. Does Rosie mind sending that link in the chat? That would be helpful for me. But sending a letter to Congress to demand ERA now. Action number 3, join us in person, DC, November 20th. Like I said, this is going to be our, it's going to be our die-ins, as Claudia was talking about. Here is the link to that. And then action number 4, host a walkout in your local community for the December 4th action. This can be anywhere. This can be if you are a university student, if you're a high school student, if you are just a local organizer, you can absolutely organize in your local community or even organize in front of a local court in your area. Here is the link for that. And then also make a donation to us. We are completely student run here at the YFP, and every little bit counts. It helps our organizers keep doing what they're doing. It provides resources for us. You know, when we have students out who are spending their entire days or their weeks working on things, who need to be fed, who need to be housed, who need, you know, posters and markers and things like that, transportation fees. All that stuff goes directly to us in helping us plan the actions and really make this movement go forward. So if you're interested in donating, I will actually drop our official Publish ERA Now website in the chat.
Hang on. I watched Luke. I have no idea how to say Luke's last name, but I know who you're talking about. For 10 minutes the other day, it was the lowest IQ panel in history. The takes from a 23-year-old Jewish lawyer were cringeworthy. You see, it's like I have not watched that guy's content in. I know I'm supposed, like, when I was a libertarian, well, I still am a libertarian technically, but like when I was in more libertarian circles, I had to pretend to like him and I had to pretend to know who he was. But I actually don't think I've ever actually watched his content before, because even the brief interactions that I did have with him, I didn't actually find him to be that smart or that insightful. Maybe about certain things. He is way smarter than me on certain on like really specific topics, but then you get him talking about like more general stuff, or you look at the people he interacts with and I'm like, nah.
Now, I know I totally just spewed a bunch of different links at you guys, but if you missed any of them, if you need to go back, if you want to send it to a friend, publisheranow.org is our official website with the Feminist Front in making this campaign happen and making the ERA be published in these last few days that we have. So, yeah, thank you.
I'm dropping in right now our legislative links too, because we need to be spamming them every chance we get.
Okay, thank you so much, Ella, for giving us a really good rundown of the specific actions that every single person on this call can take and plug into our next 72 days of action. I'm going to pass it off to Sophia and to Grace from the Feminist Front to give us a few closing words.
Sophia, can we hear you?
All right, testing, check. Can folks hear me?
Yes.
We made it. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate everybody's patience with all of the tech. But you know what? That's what we are in. We are here as community. We're here to do this together by any means necessary. I want to make it very clear. We know right now exactly what is coming. They told us. Y'all hear me? They told us. They told us in advance that they wanted a national abortion ban. They told us in advance they're coming for queer and trans youth in particular, but people of all ages. This is a very real time for us to come together, particularly what we believe in this lame duck session, to put as many protections forward as possible for our communities for what we know will be very, very hard in the next several years. Our solution is the Equal Rights Amendment because we've been working on this as a feminist movement in this country for over 100 years now. So honor your feminist ancestors, honor the queer people and the women and the trans people who came before you, and really dig in these 2 months. We are calling on you right now. I need you to sign up on the link. I do not care how much work.
What is this person's name? I'm going to put this person, I'm going to put this person's name in the chat. Okay. I can see it on the Zoom. Bot, can you look up this person for me? Because she seems kind of like a psychopath. And that seems to me like it might be some interesting content. It seems to me that this person might have some videos on the internet that would be entertaining for us to watch. Thank you, Bot.
Work you have done on this in decades. I do not care if this is your first meeting today. It is you. It is literally going to be us saving ourselves, us, our lives on the line, who decide it is all in for these next 2 months to finally publish this damn ERA in this damn country that was built on damn genocide that couldn't even put women and queer people in its own fucking constitution. That's the honest truth. So now we're here. We're here because this country could not elect a woman. We're here because this country chose racism and sexism and genocide and homophobia instead. So I'm telling you today because honestly, community is the only thing that's going to get us through. I believe in the people on this call. We believe in the people on this call. We know what it means because we know what's at stake. It's us.
Did she
all the
spell
people
her
on
name
this
wrong?
call are really who are going to show up and show out for not only our generation, but generations to come. So if you signed on today, it means that you're an organizer. Welcome. Welcome to the movement. We're happy to have you.
You guys
we need you
found
to
her.
click
Thank
the
you.
links. We need you to sign up. There is a role for everybody. And no, we're going to win this shit because we're going to give it all we got. You with me? Say it in the chat if you're with us. Let's go. I want everybody in the chat to say ERA now. It's been 100 years. It's finally time. Women to have a place in this country. Queer people to have a place in this country.
Yeah, women don't
Let's
have a
really
place,
build
for
out
sure.
a true feminist movement. Thank you so much on behalf of YFP and the Feminist Front. We're here with you. Let's lead our generation into.
Oh, but it did. But it did. But it did. Guys, what is the definition of queer? Well done to everyone who sent me information, Bot and Reagan. Thank you.
To real feminism.
Let's give it up for Sophia. Okay. Sophia, I've been told that Sophia has a prophetic voice and message.
No, queer does not mean weird. Queer does not mean weird at all. Pop quiz for the chat. What does queer mean? Queer is anything going against the normal, the legitimate, the dominant. That means normativity. Normativity means capitalism. When they say normativity, they mean the norms that uphold capitalism. Queer is a far-left political ideology that is anti-normative and anti-capitalist. Queer is a rejection of capitalist normativity. The far-left ideology that seeks to abolish capitalism. Oh, the person that we just watched tweets a lot about capitalism. Imagine my shock. Imagine my shock that a feminist queer activist tweets about capitalism. Imagine my shock. It's a left-wing political position against societal norms, so societal norms uphold the capitalist society. Let's see. Queer means anti-capitalist. I appreciate you taking the feedback. Thank you. Let's continue.
Whenever she speaks. I'm sure if you guys have just heard, that's absolutely true. If Grace wants to give any final words as well.
Okay, to be clear, the far left wasn't around during the Constitution. How silly are you? You really think the far left didn't exist when the Constitution was written? Bro, the far left's been around a long fucking ass time. And it's come in different forms. And they believe, and it honestly, you know what? It honestly doesn't really even fucking matter. Hell, what do leftists... This is a question just for this person who thinks he knows everything and thinks that debunking the leftist is going to fix the problem. Just for Hal. What do socialists and communists call the Constitution? Just for Hal, no one else answer this. What do socialists and communists call the Constitution? You know everything, Hal, so you should definitely know this answer. You are the expert in all things leftist and in all things Constitution. So this should be like a no-brainer. It's actually one of the easiest questions I've asked all day. What do socialists and communists call the Constitution? We are waiting for your answer, Hal. We will not continue the stream until you give us an answer. What do socialists and leftists call the Constitution? Well, that's not the answer to the question, bro. What do socialists and leftists call the Constitution? We're waiting for your answer. This is why I say people should come into the chat and listen. They need to listen. You want to assert that you're an expert in my fucking chat and we should listen to what you have to say. If you want to assert that you are any sort of expert that we should be listening to in my chat, we're going to make sure you know what the fuck you're talking about. If you do not know what socialists and what socialists and communists refer to the Constitution as, then I do not value your opinion in regards to what they think and believe because you don't know the basics about them. This is 101 level. That's not... What does that even mean? Don't just throw out a fucking buzzword to try to get out of the situation that you created yourself. That's not it. Saying capitalism is not just the answer to everything. And that doesn't prove to me you actually know what the answer is, so try again. You think you're going to get out of this by saying capitalism? No. What do socialists and communists call the Constitution? They don't call it capitalism. They don't say capitalism and mean the Constitution. What do they call it? We're waiting. You can say I don't know. Nope, that's not what they say either. They call the Constitution the capitalist Constitution. Now you're going to say, but Carlin, I said capitalism. Did you say capitalist Constitution? No. What you did was throw out a buzzword because you thought that throwing out a buzzword was going to get you out of the problem. They don't call the Constitution whiteness either. Do they say, I want to abolish the whiteness, meaning the Constitution? No, they don't. So... next time you come into my chat and you want to assert your fucking opinions above what I'm saying and what I'm teaching, you damn well better be able to answer basic 101 level questions about who the left is and what they believe. And if you don't, we're going to expose that to show that people shouldn't be listening to you right now. Until you know what the left says and what the left does and what the left believes and what the left stands for, don't come in here and try to teach us anything. How did we earn this position? Because some of us have been here almost every day for 3 fucking years. Not just me, other people in the chat. You haven't. You come and go. I've seen you around before. I know you're not a total noob. But don't pretend you have anything to come in here and teach us when you are refusing to listen to what's being taught to you. Moving on.
Grace, you can take up the floor.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how I can follow that.
You can, because you're brilliant. We're doing it together, Grace. Tell us how you walked in. Tell us how you got here. Let's go. Let's do it together. We're in it together.
Okay. So if anyone here is like, this is your first, like you're literally your first ever organizing call, like raise your hand, put it in the chat, or don't if you're shy. But I was very disorganized as an activist for a very long time.
Can I just say, just like, again, and I promise I'm going to move on after this. Thank you for feeding right into what I was about to say. This fucking idea that people like you and generally people in conservative circles has, that your opinion matters just as much as everyone else's, like, ideas, it's fucking bullshit. Not everyone's opinion matters. And when those opinions are not grounded in reality and informed by reality, and they're just informed by your fucking feelings, your opinion doesn't count. I reserve the right to dismiss any opinion on my fucking channel, of all places. I will dismiss any fucking opinion that is grounded in your fee-fees. I will dismiss any fucking opinion that is easily disproven by what leftists say and what leftists do in the real world. So you can say, well, I'm just expressing my opinion. I don't know why people aren't allowed to have different opinions on this channel, because this is a fucking classroom. There is a right and a wrong answer. When you come in and you give the wrong answer in a fucking classroom and you get told you gave the wrong answer, you can't just then go, well, it was my opinion and my opinion matters just as much as facts and reality, and therefore I should get 100 on the test because I'm giving my opinion and my opinion matters too. You sound like a fucking leftist when you do that. Your opinion does not matter. You are in my fucking classroom, and if you don't understand the dynamic, then get out.
I, became feminist while I was in high school. I became kind of attuned to feminism. I first learned about the Equal Rights Amendment while I was a teenager.
I know I said I was done, but I'm still going. The fact that people think that their opinions about something based on a book they read or a fucking YouTube video they saw that is completely unhinged from reality, the fact that they think that their opinions are all equal with other sources of information, this is part of why we have the fucking problem that we have. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them. The vast majority of people's opinions are ill-informed, unresearched, not hinged into reality, and are based on their own fucking feelings, and are only offered to make themselves feel morally superior or smarter than other people, when in fact, most opinions are bullshit. We are literally watching a call right now with a group of people who have the opinion that Biden can just sign the Equal Rights Amendment and it's going to become part of the Constitution. All of their opinions are garbage. Their opinion does not count. The reason that we are watching this call is to understand what organizing tactics they're putting in place, which is a different fucking question. But you're telling me that because they're expressing an opinion, that opinion should be held up on the same level as facts and reality? No, I fundamentally dismiss that. Stop acting like fucking leftists.
When I was in college, I was in my second year of college in 2016 when Trump was elected. That was my first protest, was after he was elected. And I was doing a lot of talking with the women around me, my classmates, lots of going to kind of random actions, but I was never organized. I was never in community. And it wasn't until I moved to
asking me to coddle your feelings is not the best next move. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you are of the expectation that I'm about to coddle your feelings, you're going to be really disappointed.
Los Angeles. And in 2022, soon after I moved to Los Angeles, the Dobbs decision was brought down. And I was like, this is it's like how they say about like investing. They're like, the best time to do it was 10 years ago. The best time is today. The best time to get organized was years ago, but the second best time is today. And I was like, I can no longer just like go to a random protest here or there. I have to plug in. This has to be a long-term thing. And I was so lucky to find the Feminist Front. I emailed a different organization that was based somewhere else. They pointed me to the Feminist Front, and ever since then, I have been on the ground working in community with these folks. And I just want to say, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about organizing. I was so green. And they brought me in, they taught me everything, they helped me every step of the way. This community we are about uplifting each other. We are about bringing each other in, about training each other, about building each other up. We have to build this movement together. And that means building each other up. And do not be shy. Do not be afraid. Do not feel like not confident, because we need you. Like, you are so important. Everyone is so crucial to this moment. And this is the perfect time to get organized, to get in here. Like, we are so excited that you're here. And we are just really need to see you moving forward. Like, this is the time. I want to see everybody here showing up to all of this in any way that you can. I want everyone here also now you're all organizers. As Sophia said, you guys are all organizers. Now it's your job to bring all of your friends, anyone else that you know, into this movement. Send them all those links. Get them on the next call that the Feminist Front or the YFP has.
Hang on, we got a member chat from Nick. Nick, thank you for being a member of the channel for 26 months. I really do appreciate it. Rather interesting. Conservatives don't put any effort fighting fighting the far left, but come in here ready to fight you. Bunch of cowards they are, no balls at all. I do generally find that it is rather amusing that conservatives are more interested in fighting with me than they are the far left, but it just shows you where their values are. It's all good. All good. If conservatives don't want to do stuff about the left, I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it.
Teach them what the ERA is. I was literally just telling some friends the other day about what the Equal Rights Amendment was, and they fully thought that it died in the 70s. But no, it's now, literally ERA now. We're gonna send you guys all the stuff. Everything is on our website, which is the publisheraNow.org. All of the info is going to be there. If anyone else is part of another organization and you want to sign on and be in coalition with us and sign on to this movement,
wait, seriously?
There is a page there.
Seriously?
Seriously?
Hal, I really recommend you stop being defensive and you stop putting your feelings out in the chat. I really do. It doesn't go over well here. It really doesn't. If you want to be here to learn, then you are welcome to be here and learn. Okay? But, one of the rules on my channel is no whining. You're getting really close to whining now. And I don't want to see that. I really don't. If you can't handle me and you can't handle my tone, you cannot handle the left. Reality. Sophia tweeted that gender is about abolishing all gender domination. You quote tweeted me? Hang on. Hang on. Let's see this. Let's see this. Sophia is the crazy woman in here. Let me just get my Twitter up so that I can see Bot's quote tweet. Hang on, it's loading. Here it is. Found it. Let's see. Let's see what Bot found. Taking its sweet-ass time loading. No reason it should be taking this long, browser. No reason you should be taking this long at all. Maybe if we reload it. I just saw it in my notifications. Why the hell isn't it loading? There it is. Carlin is right. Let's see. This is the crazy woman that we were just listening to. Feminism isn't about replacing men's domination with women or gender-expansive domination. It's about challenging the very ideology of domination itself. The ideology of domination means capitalism. Domination structuring everything hurts us and keeps you always at war with others. Good find, Bot. Excellent find. Thank you for sharing that with us. Does everyone understand what that tweet says? Feminism is about challenging the very ideology of domination itself. That means capitalism, because capitalism is the ideology that that advances domination. Capitalism is the ideology that creates hierarchies.
That. And with that, I'm just gonna bring it back to YFP. Thank you all so much for letting me take it.
Thank you so much, Grace. Okay, so we have a lot of time left on this call. We haven't used up the hour yet, but I mean, I just want to reaffirm what every single organizer and leader on this call has said today, and every single person that has joined us to be in community, not just to like be in solidarity with each other and reflect on what we've lost, but reflecting and strategizing and looking forwards towards how we win. And I think that's what's the most important, actually plugging into the actions and the resources that the organizers that are working day in and day out on this have been crafting for us all. And I know a lot of people have asked about the links to the specific actions. PublishERAnow.org is our new website. Every single thing that we've shared here tonight for you guys to plug in and take action is on that website. I know there's a lot of links. Everything is on that website. So that's just what I'll direct you guys towards. But yeah, so I think for now we're good. And we're going to continue to build, we're going to continue to organize, we're going to continue to win. If anyone has any lingering questions, I am good to stay on this call and just field them for anyone who's curious. If you want to learn a little bit more about the action, or if you want to learn a little bit more about the ERA and some of like the specifics and nitty-gritty behind it. But we've had an amazing time tonight, y'all, and I just want to thank you all for coming and for joining.
These people are so good at gaslighting that they've gaslit themselves to believe this is a real thing. Socialists always lie. They always lie. They always gaslight. They even gaslight themselves. Like they're feeling all proud of themselves. None of them have any idea this isn't actually a real initiative. It's like, it is crazy, isn't it? Hopefully some questions get asked. The best information always comes in the Q&A. Look at those sad boys sitting on this call. Who are these boys trying to fuck that they're spending time on this call? Like, there's a girl on that call or something that... There's a reason they're on there.
Recording stopped.
If you don't know that the left is winning, then you're not fucking paying attention. Yes, they're winning. Yes. I see you in my chat way too much for you to ask that particular question. If you don't understand the left is winning, you are completely unhinged from fucking reality.
Okay, Anna asks, will you keep us updated on any marches? Yes. All the updated information about actions that we're taking is going to be on the PublishERAnow.org website. This campaign is being led by the Feminist Front and the Young Feminist Party. I'm from the Young Feminist Party. You can also head to our Instagram at Young Feminist Party. Follow us, and we're always posting about what we're doing, and all of the links on the PublishERAnow.org website will also be there. Is Biden alone able to publish the ERA from Quinn? Yes, Biden alone can publish the Equal Rights Amendment. If you're a little familiar with the constitutional amendment process, Congress has to vote on it. Congress did that decades ago in the 70s. 38 states have to ratify it. The last and final state that was needed to ratify the ERA was Virginia 4 years ago, 2020. Because of this issue with the deadline, which an overwhelming amount of legal scholars have come out saying the deadline is not valid, have have essentially said that the only thing left.
You know, I have all these people right now in my replies because I posted that video about Sargon yesterday where he was talking about hierarchy as it relates to the radical revolutionary far left. This is separate from what we're watching right now, but I need to complain for a second. I have all of these people in my replies, usually conservatives, that are like, Carlin, don't you know that Jordan Peterson always talked about hierarchy and hierarchy is all that Jordan Peterson talked about, and you're saying that Carl Benjamin is the only person talking about hierarchy, but Jordan Peterson talked about hierarchy. Okay, assholes. I would like someone to please show me one single clip. Show me one single clip of any talk that Jordan Peterson has ever given, of any interview that Jordan Peterson has ever given, of any book that Jordan Peterson has ever written. I mean, the man wrote a book about fantasizing about his grandmother's fucking pubic hairs. So it stands to reason that if he's written a book about that had a section, literally this is true. Jordan Peterson wrote a section of a book about dreaming about his grandmother's pubic hairs or some such shit. So if he's written something like that in a book, then it would stand to reason that he said something about this somewhere. Has Jordan Peterson ever taught people that hierarchy is what the left wants to abolish? Has Jordan Peterson ever taught people that equity is a world without hierarchy? Has Jordan Peterson ever taught people that capitalism, what the left believes is capitalism created all hierarchies? I want one single clip for every single asshole that's come into my comments in the last couple of days and been like, Carlin, don't you know that Jordan Peterson talked about hierarchy all the time? That's why he talks about lobsters, because it's about hierarchy. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if Jordan Peterson has pontificated esoterically about the benefits of hierarchy. What I care about is, has Jordan Peterson taught people that the reason the left wants to abolish capitalism is they want to abolish all hierarchy and they believe that capitalism created all hierarchy, and that's why every single issue the left tackles, from race to gender to queer to environmental justice to reproductive justice to transing kids in schools to Israel-Palestine to every single thing the far left, to abolish the police, to every single thing, literally universal health care, public education, every single issue the far left talks about relates back to the issue of hierarchy. Has Jordan Peterson ever talked about that? If he hasn't, shut the fuck up. And I want receipts. None of this pinky swear. I once heard Jordan Peterson talk about the left in the same interview where he used the word hierarchy, and so that counts, right? No, it doesn't. I want receipts. I want a clip. I want a clip from an interview. I want a clip from a show. I want an excerpt from his book. Again, bro has literally written about his grandmother's pubic hairs in his book. If he's written about his grandmother's pubic hairs and he hasn't written about hierarchy as it relates to the strategy of the radical revolutionary far left, then stop coming into my comments and acting like you know what you're talking about, because you aren't even capable of listening to the arguments I'm making.
In terms of getting the ERA in the Constitution is just the president's signature to actually sign it into the Constitution. And he hasn't yet. There are procedural hurdles. There are people saying that the ERA is not valid, that it died. That is not true.
It is true.
So Biden alone can publish. Question from Kristen. Are both Young Feminist Party and the Feminist Front just for school /
Why? Why are you even... What does this... This is just a question for you. What does any of this have to do with what I just said? Please explain to me in the chat. If you don't explain to me in the chat, you're going to get permanently banned, because I've already... You're losing your privileges very fast. What does any of this have to do with the point I just made? How does any of this relate to the point I just made? Please explain in the chat. Go ahead. We're waiting. Yes, exactly. It has nothing to do with the subject matter. It has nothing to do with it. That's exactly the fucking point.
College students, would love to get more involved. No. So the Young Feminist Party and the Feminist Front are not just for college students or high schoolers.
I'll say this too, bro. I'll give you points for admitting right away that it had nothing to do with it. I'll give you points for that. You won some points back.
We just started out as being movement organizations that were founded by young people. And while the majority of our base is young people centered, we're not exclusionary. Anybody can join the Young Feminist Party. Anybody can join the Feminist Front. We need as many hands on deck when it comes to building the movement power we need to get the wins that we want.
I'm definitely going to join.
The Young Feminist Party and the Feminist Front, open to anybody who wants to join.
Sweet. We should all join.
Would it help to get Kamala's team folded into have her pressure? I would say just because Kamala's the vice president, there's not much that her office alone can do in terms of putting pressure on Biden to publish. Strategically, it just makes more sense to focus on Biden. That was a little different before we had the election results come out, because we knew that Harris had the potential to become the next POTUS and do it herself. But post-election, that's not the reality anymore. The pressure has to be put on Biden. What would joining the Feminist Front consist of? How involved would we be? So I hope we're also not counting out the Young Feminist Party. If you go to the publisheranow.org website, that's where you can get all the information and resources in terms of plugging into the campaign that both the Feminist Front and the Young Feminist Party are organizing. If you want to specifically become a member of the Young Feminist Party, you can just head to our website, youngfeministparty.org, and become a member. You can also head to our Instagram. We have the link in our bio to become a member. I can't speak to how to become a member of the Feminist Front because I don't work with their movement organization, but this is what I can say for YFP.
Who would it's also just a link. It's a Google form. All it takes. All it takes is a Google form, everybody. Then you're in.
Yes, what Grace said. Thank you. Okay. I see a few people have just joined the call. We wrapped up the bulk of our presentation. Right now, we're just answering questions from anyone who wants to learn more. But if you've just joined, we have a recording of this meeting that will be published on our Instagram and on our website soon, so you can look back and see what you missed. But if you just want to be redirected to how you can take action right now and things to plug into, visit publisheranow.org. You'll have the links to get registered to fuel the movement. And to
all right, they're basically winding down now. Listen, I don't mean to be in a pissy mood today. We're kind of done with that. It was interesting from like a leftist perspective, I guess. I wish it had, I don't know. It was a bit of a blah presentation. That's okay. Sometimes we watch blah presentations. I'm sorry if people think I'm in a pissy mood, but the thing of it is that it is extremely frustrating for me when we can't focus on what we're actually trying to do because people are constantly trying to pull things elsewhere just to feed their own egos or to make themselves feel better or things like that. That's actually the problem. This is why I've been so uppity in the chat today. It's like, literally, sometimes all I want to do is be able to focus on the content and be able to focus on, like, you know, helping people to understand the content and helping people to understand what's going on. And I have people that are constantly not listening This all starts with not listening and then completely missing the point of what's going on because they're not listening. And that's a problem, guys. That's a problem. And I understand fully that I run my YouTube channel very differently than like pretty much everyone else on YouTube. I really do get that. And I understand that it's not for everyone, and that's totally fine with me because it keeps me sane. But we are actually trying to achieve very specific things here. My streams, as much as we try to have fun and we joke and we actually do learn stuff, like they're research streams. That's like what they are. They're to research. Like the things I'm doing on my streams, I'm researching what I need to know to be able to create other content. I'm researching things that I think I might use for clips on things. I'm looking for evidence so I can use to show people, to back up the things that I say. I'm looking for materials that I can use in other places. That's the purpose of this. And so when people come in and they're like, my opinion is X, Y, B, and Z, and my opinion is just like everyone else's, and my opinion has just as much validity as it's like, no, shut up. Seriously, it's a distraction, and it's not about you. I'm very sorry, but like, audience, I love you. I love the people who show up every day. This is not about you. It's not about your ego. It's not about me either, by the way. It's about learning the content. It's about learning what's going on. It's about utilizing all this information that's out there that's publicly available to us to be able to assess and analyze what's going on. That is the purpose of all of this. And if we're not doing that, then I don't know what we're doing. And I find it really, really frustrating that, especially when I know that people have come to my streams before and they just seem completely unhinged from what we're doing when they come back. It's like, where the fuck did you go? Did you start listening to Fox News and the Daily Wire? Oh, I can see why you're acting like a retard then. It's like, if people go away and they start listening to the basic conservative bullshit, they inevitably come back and act stupid. Honestly. Like, I see this over and over and over again. I have people in my chat that for a while they're in my chat and they're learning and they're doing good, and then they leave and I don't see them anymore until they come back several months or even a year later. And you can tell, I can always tell when people have been watching Fox News and the Daily Wire and Dan Bongino and all this stuff. I can always tell. And Charlie Kirk and Benny Johnson, I can always tell because it's those people who come in and they say the stupidest things. And it's like, you know this is not true. I know you've seen content that says this is not true. What are you doing? What are you doing? Albert is a new person today, though, so none of this applies to him. And Albert, I hope you come back and are totally dissuaded by my mean tone. How is it you can stomach this garbage from communists? Oh, what we watched today was light. Albert, you want to see the real shit? Come to Socialism Saturday. What we watched today was light. Maybe even come back tomorrow. We might do a queer Marxism marathon tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a whole marathon of queer anarchism. You want the real shit? What we watched today? Not even close to the level that we've watched before. And this is why I have a short temper with people, because I've been doing this almost every day for years. Other than the Jordan Peterson thing, have Carl's fans been treating? Yeah, actually, yeah. So listen, again, like, I haven't watched Sargon of Akkad in like literally years. I've almost never watched the Lotus Eaters. I think I maybe saw one clip from the Lotus Eaters before this. It was nothing personal. It's just I don't watch a lot of other people's content on the internet. How have Carl's fans been treating and reacting to you? You can tell a lot by how someone's followers are behaving. Actually, I've been getting pretty good feedback from them. And I've seen a lot of new people in like the comments, and they're being nice. And so, I don't know, someone told me that he graduated with like a philosophy degree like a year ago or something like that, maybe 2 years ago. And so they've seen kind of him really digging into a lot of this stuff. And the only time I ever watched him was like in 2019, really. And so I haven't seen him since he got this philosophy degree. But like, I mean, apparently people are saying that they've seen him dig into this stuff, which is actually really interesting. Again, I'd love to talk to him. I really would. I would love to compare what he knows with what I know. I would love to show him some of the stuff we have and to see how he responds to it. But I can't force him to talk to me. I already sent them an email. I haven't heard back yet. So I guess we see how it goes. Anyway, let me see. Personally, I like how you run your channel. You keep to the point. Hey, I appreciate that. I promise that I'm picking up at least okay, well, as long as you're showing up and you're trying. As long as you're showing up and you're trying, that's all I can really ask. But I do find sometimes people need to be hit in the face with them when they're acting dumb. Me included. Sometimes I need to be hit in the face with when I'm acting dumb. Anyway, my husband has just returned home and he has brought me a sandwich. Of all the ironies, right? My husband went out and got me a sandwich. He got some other stuff too. It wasn't just, he didn't just go out to get me a sandwich. I've been like craving this very specific sandwich all day. And I texted him. I was like, "Can you go get me that sandwich because he goes to the store after work." And it's like right next to the store he goes to. And so my husband has brought me a sandwich. It's downstairs. And so I'm going to take my leave and I'm going to go eat my sandwich. But guys, tomorrow is big episode 300. I don't know what I'm going to do for the 300th episode. If anyone has any suggestions of what I'm going to do for the 300th episode, or you have an idea of something we can do to celebrate 300 episodes of The Cult, please let me know. Many of you know how to get in touch with me. You can tweet me at Twitter. You can DM me on Twitter. Dr. Carlin B on Twitter if you follow me on there. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.